Hello, future coders. Hope you are doing well. Welcome back to ILM Academy, and this is Chetan Kumar. So, we are discussing about the data structure, lab manual, DCA, second semester, and that is according to a SEC syllabus. Yes, and this is your syllabus. We have already discussed the first two programs, and today let us discuss about the third program. And the third program is related to a insertion sort as well as the selection sort. So before knowing this algorithm as well as the program, you have to know the inner concept, okay, in a deeper perspective. Okay, there is a major difference between insertion and the selection sort based on its mechanism. So when it comes to insertion sort, as name implies, within that we will follow the shifting operation, but not the swapping operation, because there is a difference between swapping and the shifting. So within the insertion sort, we will follow shifting mechanism. So within that, whatever we select the element, while we are shifting, the current element will go forward to the next position. So based on that, we would like to sort every element. Okay, that's the first strategy we are following. And our second strategy is based on selection sort. Okay, what we will do is, within that, we will select one of the maximum element, okay, across the entire array. Okay, why we are selecting the maximum element? Because our intention is to arrange the elements in the descending order. So hence the name implies the strategy is what? The selection. The first point is we will select the maximum element, and the second, within the selection sort, we will follow the swapping mechanism, not the shifting mechanism. Okay, within the insertion, we will follow the shifting, and within the selection sort, we will follow the swapping element. Okay, swapping of any kind of maximum element to a proper position. Okay, that's the major difference between these kind of algorithms. Okay, now let us move on to the actual program. Here it is your program. So always, as we discussed earlier, while you are writing, your program will start from a header file. So what kind of header file you are including as a library? So that is the common thing, standard input output dot header file. Okay, just to include the printf and the scanf mechanism. And when it comes to a order of execution, always it will start from a main function, because that is the gateway of a program, okay, which is done by the compiler. You are always the program execution will start from the main function, and its return type is the integer. Okay, integer as a return type, followed by your main function, and within that we are following the body of the main function. Within the body of the main function, we will start from a declaration of a variable based on our requirement. So within this, we are declaring the array, and its name is a the block, and its data type is the what? Integer. So based on the homogeneous data type, within this all the elements should be of integer only, and within this we also initialize the element as a sample input, because within the program itself internally we are passing the input. It means what? You are not dependent on output, that is a console input. Okay, so within this we have a readily available input. Based on that, we need to arrange overall the element in the descending order by using the two mechanisms. Okay, one is the insertion and another one is the selection sort mechanism, and followed by we are using the n named variable, which is of type integer, and within that we are following the size of, which is a numeric operator, to identify the number of elements present within the array. For that computation, we are including this one, followed by as what we are writing this line. as a acknowledgement statement, just to convey the user what they have to do while the output screen will encounter in front of them. At that time, it will show the original array. That is before the sorting mechanism. Okay, how the element is stored in the randomized order. Because we need to know the before perspective as well as the after perspective. Okay, just to visualize the before perspective, we are representing, we are displaying our original array before how it was. Like, and the print array for every variation we need to display the array. Okay, for that we are utilizing the one of the method, and that method name is what? Print array. And as well as you are passing the two number of parameters, and two number of parameters are, one is the ARR, that is the array, followed by the second one n, and n indicates what? Number of elements present within the array. Okay, whenever the control or else the pointer encounters within the print array, it will be navigated towards the original actual declaration of the method. So why? Why to wait? So let us navigate towards the actual declaration of the printable array. Now your pointer will come to this line. Okay, that is the declaration of a print array, and its return type is void. Always void means that is a keyword which accepts nothing, which returns nothing. For that we will follow void as a return type. It does nothing. Okay, and within that, as you already know, we have two parameters. One is the array, and the second one is the quantity of the array. That is the size we have to know. Based on that, we can know the number of elements as the size. And within that, locally we are declaring the I named variable which is of type integer. Followed by, we are applying the for loop. Why we are applying the for loop? Just to traverse the element. And again, why the traversal operation is required? Okay, whenever we are applying the traversal, it will visit every element, and whatever the element will be visited, that will be printed onto the screen one by one. For that, you need to depend upon one of the looping construct. So that is the reason why we are using the for loop, and its range will be started from index number 0 to a less than n, that is n minus 1 or else size minus 1. Always your boundary, the range should be n minus 1. So 0 to n minus 1, what is the updation ratio? That is incrementing. Okay, so this is we call it as post increment operation as a updation role. So by default, your I will be in the position of or else the index of 0. And as you know already, within the index number 0, your first element will be stored. So within the time of printf, you are following percentage %d. Whatever the character which will start from percentage, for that we call it as a format specifier. And within this, it will be decided based on array of I. Okay, this is the syntax of how we can retrieve the element one by one based on the index of I. So within this, by default, I is equal to 0 as per the for loop. So it's time to print the first element onto the screen. So like this. So how long this loop will be validated? As many of elements is present within the array. Okay, that much number of times it will be executed repeatedly, iteratively. At the last, after the ending of element, it will come out from the for loop. Okay, at that time, within the console, you can get all one element as a list. Okay, this is the operation. And next, we can move towards the next method. And your next method name is the actual one, that is insertion sort, that is your first mechanism to sort or arrange the available elements. And next move on to the actual declaration of insertion sort with the number of parameters 2, and they are ARR and N. Now your pointer will navigate to the actual declaration of insertion sort with two number of parameters ARR and N. Within that, locally we are dependent on three local variables, that is I, key and j. Okay, these are the dependents as the data type integer, and within that we are applying one of the for loop. Okay, just to traverse your indexed element. For that, you are following this one, and already you are starting from I is equal to 1 to n minus 1. That is your range. And 1 to n minus 1, you are doing updation as a post increment operation. Under this for loop, we are initializing with the key is equal to array of wherever the I is. And where is the I? I is equal to within the first position. After that, j is equal to I minus 1. For every iteration, j has to be decremented by I as an index. Why? Because our intention is to arrange the elements in a decrement fashion or a decreased manner. For that, you are applying these kind of I minus 1 to decrement the value for every iteration by 1. And now again we are following the other kind of looping construct, that is while. When we will use the while loop? Whenever we don't know the range. At that time we are dependent upon a while kind of looping construct. And within that we are following two categories of conditions. The first condition is j should be always greater than or equal to 0. And along with that, we are applying the AND operation based on that two, or else both the conditions should be satisfied. Okay, to enter inside the block. That is the dependency have. Okay, and what is the second condition? Always your j element should be less than the key element, because within this always will shift the element from unsorted part of array into a sorted part of array. For that, we are depending upon the condition, and to shift the element we will use this logic. Okay, so all the time when you shift any kind of selected element, it has to move further. For moving further ahead, you are using the array of j plus 1. Assume your current element is the j and your next position of j is always the j plus 1. So we are incrementing the position of a jth element by 1. For that we are using the j plus 1, and your previous element is the j. And always for every iteration we need to decrement the j itself. Okay, from right hand side to the left side. For that we need to decrease the pointer, and as well as within the extended part we can insert our key. Okay, after the current element moving further within the empty block, we are storing the key. That is the operation of the shifting mechanism, while we are sorting the element in a decreased manner. How long these kind of condition or a process will carry? Until every element will be in a proper position. Okay, till that it will be continue its work. Okay, that's the mechanism of your insertion sort. And next we can see the operation of a selection sort. Okay, after having the sorted elements as per the insertion sort, it's time to print with the acknowledgement by using a printable statement. Within that we can format our output. Okay, how we can format? sorted array using insertion sort, and within the bracket you can specify that is in the format of descending, and that is optional. And within that again we can reuse the same method, that is print array. Okay, it is going to print the updated array, okay, which you are changing from randomized array elements to a arranged element. Okay, that is the operation of insertion. And next, okay, we are trying to reinitialize the elements of ARR to ARR2 with the same randomized element. Okay, and with these elements you are applying our second mechanism, that is your selection sort, and we need to call the method, okay, with the two parameters, ARR2 with n as a quantity, and next the pointer will move towards the actual declaration of a selection sort method. Okay, and now your pointer will come towards this part, that is selection sort with two parameters, and within the block as a body we need to declare local variables, and that local variables are I, j, max, id, and temp. And while we are using the max id is, by default we will assume the first element as the maximum element, because we doesn't know the upcoming values. Okay, so that by default it is better to assume the first element whichever present within the zeroth index itself your maximum element. Why we are considering maximum element? Because our intention is to sort as per the descending or decrement fashion. Okay, if the case is ascending order, at that time we need to consider the first element as the smaller one. Okay, that's the dependency we are having. And within the next line we are following the for loop just to traverse the element, and within this we are using again the start range as 0 to n minus 1 itself. Okay, because we will not consider the last element, because within the last element to compare we doesn't have the next element. Okay, so that the range is less than the n minus 1 itself. Okay, if the last element is n minus 1, we are applying less than that. Less than that means n minus 2 is the limitation you are having. Okay, from 0 to less than n minus 1 we are updating by using the post increment operation. And under the for loop, as I said, we are considering the maximum number as I, wherever the I is. And where is the I? In the zeroth index. Whatever the element present within the zeroth index, that is itself your maximum element within the initial state. Okay, and within that the next logic is to find is there any upcoming largest number than our assumed one. Okay, for that we are applying these condition with logic, and for that also we are dependent upon the other nested loop, that is with j, and that j is equal to I plus 1. Why we are not considering the I? Because I is referred to the maximum element. So due to that reason we need to start comparing from its next position, and its next position itself was I plus 1. Okay, so we are applying the j is equal to the starting point as I plus 1, and again its limitation is n minus 1. Okay, j is less than n. Okay, up to this the j has to be post incremented as a operation. Within that the comparison as a condition you are applying using a if kind of conditional statement. Okay, within that array of j, the current element, j refers to always the current element, and that current element, if it is greater than our assumed element as a greater, if this condition satisfied, at that time we will update the maximum element. Okay, how long this for loop will be iterated until if there is any kind of maximum element present and if there is any kind of updation exists. Okay, till that it will be on the loop itself. If there is no any element, okay, after the comparison, okay, if there is no any largest element than the assumed element, there is no any kind of updation will be processed. Okay, so after deciding the maximum element as per this algorithm, next it's time to start. As I said earlier, selection sort is dependent on not the shifting but by using the swapping operation. Swap means exchange or interchanging the relevant position from unsorted part of array to a sorted part of array. That is your proper position. That is our intention. For that, the starting is needed. For that starting, we have a condition, and that condition is if the maximum element is not equal to I. It means what? After the updation, we are applying this one. Okay, if there is a swapping is necessary, then only the swapping has to be considered. Within the swapping criteria, we are using the third variable as the temporary storage. Within that temp, we are storing the first indexed element. Okay, first variable element within the temp we are storing, and within the first variable we are storing the second variable value to the first variable. Now the second variable got emptied, and within that we are storing the earlier the temp value. Okay, which we have stored the first variable value. This is how we will use the swapping strategy as a logic. Okay, how long this is all the process will carried out until every element will solve depending upon the decrement order. Okay, at the last, after this is all the mechanism, it will come back to the main function within the acknowledgement statement to format your output. It's time to format our output of our selection sort, and how we can format with the okay dependency of a printf statement. So sorted array using selection sort, and within a bracket, as I said earlier, descending. It's optional to use. And next we are dependent upon print array. Again we are using or reusing the same method, that is print array, and it will print the updated array from a randomized array to a sorted. Okay, decrementally. And at the last we can come back to the console, returning onto the console. Okay, this is the end of both the logic. Hope you understood the concept. If you have any kind of query, just okay, you can request within the comment box. I will respond for all your queries. Okay, if you like the concept, please like, comment and share. Thank you.